We are supposedly live. We're going to kick things off with a little bit more of that flight simulator. Just for a bit. I've got it on an SSD, as I've mentioned before. I've got it properly locked at 30 frames from within the NVIDIA control panel. Things should be a little bit smoother. And I'm just really excited to play the game despite it being, you know what I'm saying? Not exactly the best. Not too bad, Simi Boy. How are you doing? But yeah, like I said, I think the Xbox Game Pass is still $1. So if you got a PC or an Xbox, you can try out this game really cheap. And even if it's no longer $1, it's $5 Canadian. I think that's about $4 American. And you can try this game for an entire month for $4. US-ish. Platinum on Battlefront 2. Nice. Yep. I am so happy, no offense, that I'm not into trophy hunting, because, oh boy. Well, so far, so good. There was an update to Skater XL. Skater XL's running a lot better now. Like, it's just a smoother experience. I'm able to crank up the graphics a little bit and get a little bit better anti-aliasing. I might showcase a little bit of that during the stream, which is why I didn't dub this one exclusively a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 live stream, because I do plan on doing a little bit of that flip-flopping that I am so infamous for. It is good. It's inexcusable how rough around the edges the game is. It feels like an early access title. Well, maybe not quite an early access title. It feels like a game that's slowly coming out of early access. It needs some polishing, some ironing. The turd needs to be polished. It's still a turd, but at least it'll be shiny. No, it's a good game. I spent all day yesterday playing this game. I did not play... Well, that's not true. Actually, no, it is true. Yesterday, I didn't touch anything but this game. This morning, I played a little bit of Skater XL, as I mentioned, because it got an update on both console and PC. What a difference that extra 1.5 gigabyte download update did. Like, just wow. Yeah, I was just about to ask about that because lots of people... Yeah. I made a video on it. I exploited it. I'm just being honest with the couple of people that are in my stream right now. I'm not going to lie. I exploit those issues in the video game world, and I pounce on it like a fly on shit. And I get tons of views on those videos. Because I generally have some type of workaround or fix, or if I don't, it's just a discussion on it. Like, hey guys, there's an error in Call of Duty. The servers aren't working, but as mentioned here by Activision and Infinity Ward via their Twitter, they are looking into the matter and looking into ironing out any issues forthcoming. And something goofy like that can get me 5,000 views. But I can live stream or record me being #1 on the charts, getting a bunch of headshots and boom, and I'll get 10 views. 10 views? 5,000 views? I like the 5,000 views. So I talk about the video game drama. You know what I mean? Because it pays. But I still do the gameplay videos. Why? Well, because I like them. Because I enjoy it. Damn it all. So, we're going to go with something a little quicker. The Daher, whatever. The TBM 930 is a propeller plane that is one of the fastest that you can get in the game. But I don't want something too fast either, because there's some actual downfalls to that. Yesterday I was somewhere near Cairo. It just seemed relaxing. That's why I did it. The Cairo International Airport. And that shall be our departure. And then somewhere around here, I mean, I'm not too good at geography. I did drop out of high school pretty early. But somewhere in this vicinity is Jerusalem. But I don't think I'm going to find the exact pinpoint. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. is you'll see these dots. These are like airports, right? Because you click on it and it'll tell you it's an airport. But sometimes you'll see these little white dots. And I was like, what are those white dots? I can't seem to click them. Well, they're less than relevant locations, but if you zoom in even more, it now becomes an airport. But it might be like a super generic airport. So yeah, that was something I just kind of discovered. Because like I said, if you zoom out, you can like really see a lot of airports, right? But then you're like, what are those tiny little dots? I didn't know if that was like a glitch in the geometrics of the game. I don't know. I was going to say, there's Beirut. That'll be our arrival, so we'll kind of just go for a little flight around the coast of northern Africa. Northeast part of... yeah, there we go. Flight conditions. Oh, what are we going to do? Scattered clouds. Yeah, I like scattered clouds. But I like lightning too, because, you know, why not? Because it just adds to the flight to the UK. That'll take too long. Well, I mean, I technically could, but it's going to be a long-ass flight. I never end up completing my flights, by the way. Just so you know. Now, I'm going to take a guess that that circle, by the way, in case you're wondering what that big circle is the range in which I can fly on one tank of gas without having to refuel. At least that's what I'm guessing. But you know what? Let's try something different, because Cairo's a beautiful place. We're going to... No. Charles de Gaulle. Glasgow. Dublin. House of Parliaments. I don't want to be looking at the map the whole time. Sure, Newcastle. Set as arrival. Alright, let's do it. With that plane. Just for now. It's going to be kind of painfully slow. Anyways, let's just get into it. Yeah, it's, like I said, I mean, I doubt I'm going to make it there, because it is real-time, by the way. So based on the physics of your plane, like the speed of your plane, and the actual distance that you're doing, it'll actually realistically take you that actual time in real life. This isn't, like, sped up. So if in real life, at so much speed, it would take, I don't know, a couple of hours to get there, it'll take you a couple of hours in-game to get there. Do you have the premium? No. Rip-off. Absolute rip-off. I paid a big whopping $1, $1 for this game on Game Pass. $1. You only get the standard for $1. I can't justify paying double the price for an extra 10 airplanes I don't give a crap about, and another 10 or 20 detailed airports. It's not like I'm going to fly by the airport in Beirut and go, oh yeah, that's what it looked like when I went there the last time. Yeah, I just don't think it's good value for money. If I was making good cash and, you know what I mean, I was streaming on Twitch, making money and making a little bit better money on YouTube, I'd probably just throw my money away and be like, who cares? Double the price, who cares? But, no. Yeah, but I love this game, though. I urge you to pick it up for $1. $1. Literally $1. That's insane. And you actually don't want to buy this game on the Steam store. Well, it's a cluster. Fuck. It's terrible. I got a pretty strong computer. I'm dipping at 15 frames right now. What is going on there? Right? But for me, the pros outweigh the cons. Now, before I get into the flight, I want to explain to people really quick why it is that I suggest you don't buy it on Steam and you buy it on the Microsoft Store. Because that statement right there would generally mean that someone is really not well in the head. When you buy a game from the Microsoft Store, sorry, that beep is annoying. When you buy a game from the Microsoft Store, you get to choose what hard drive you want it on. You don't get to choose what folder you want it in, okay? Then your folder becomes all these weird like letters and numbers. It always says you need privileges to access it, even though you're the administrator of your account. You can't safely move your folder over to another drive if you end up upgrading to an SSD. Microsoft is a pile of wank. However, Microsoft Flight Simulator is a different beast. It has its own launcher. Some people may not know this. So if you buy it on Steam, now you got to load Steam. Now you got to load the Microsoft Flight Simulator launcher. Now you're doing a dual launcher. But if you buy it on the Microsoft Store, there is no dual launcher. There is no Microsoft launcher. Does that make any sense? Like I just click here, I go to Flight Sim, and I go in the game. You don't have to load these programs, right? So it's insane. So you get your 1 gig default file that you download, that you choose where you want to install the game, and here, I'll even show it to you, because this is phenomenal. Most people wouldn't know this. I first had the game on my regular hard drive, but then I said, you know what? I want it on my SSD. So I copied the folder over and I deleted my original game. I re-downloaded the 1 gigabyte file onto my SSD. And look, I named it that. And it dumped. Bang. That's it. There's the 94 gig file. In one folder that you can actually access. I chose to do that. And I moved it from a prior installation without having to re-download the game. That's huge. That's not something you can normally do with a Microsoft game from the Microsoft Store. Again, if you buy it on Steam, there is no incentive to buy the game on Steam. None. Unless you're a time recording whore and you have to show off how long you've been playing a game. Because now you're going to have to load those 2 programs up. So again, this is a 1 in a million where I actually tell people not to buy the game on Steam. It's very rare that's going to happen. This is one of those times you actually want to buy it from the horse's mouth. That made no sense, but I knew what I meant. All right, enough of that. And then for $1, like I said, oh man, are you kidding me? So again, outside the game, I've locked it at 30 frames. That's incredibly important. But yeah. An extra $80 for an extra couple of planes, not worth it. But I'm being completely honest with you. If I had the money, I would do it. And I'm one of those people that's enabling that kind of behavior. Because when you have the money, it's kind of like, who cares? But unfortunately, I care. I want to buy Marvel Avengers and the new golf game coming out in a couple of days, and I can't even afford to buy those. Because I've recently purchased my lighting and my green screen. And that costs like almost $1,000. We're not off to a good start. Well, it depends how you look at it. I know some people wanted a little bit of action there. Not exactly. Again, the higher you go up, the better your performance, because it doesn't have to render as much detail. I know I'm repeating myself in all my streams and videos, but it's in case there's new people in here that weren't here before. It's really important to note that we started off the game at 7 frames a second at the airport. Now that I'm at, a couple of 1,000 feet altitude, we're running at 142 knots. It's locked at 30. You do not need 60 frames. Look at this. Look how smooth that is. Look at that. That's 30 frames. You don't need 60. Now it dropped to 20. Because I got a little too close to the buildings and it started rendering a bunch of stuff. So if you want your frames to go up, increase your altitude. The higher the altitude, the higher your frames. Oh yeah, probably. Or in the graveyard. I don't like flying. I do, but I don't. So I grew up flying a lot. I've been in helicopters. I've been in airplanes multiple, countless times. I've flown. I've experienced life, you know? But with, you know, the somewhat recent-ish events that have transpired in the last couple of decades. I know it's been a couple of decades already since, like, the whole 9/11 thing and airplanes vanishing into thin air. I'm going to crack a joke about that in a minute. It might be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways. I just have too much anxiety now to fly. So back about 5 or 6 years ago, there's a flight that left from Kuala Lumpur, Indonesia, MH370. Big, massive Boeing. It just vanished into thin air. Just gone. Like it's gone. They could find Bin Laden in a hole in the middle of the desert, but they can't find a plane with GPS and a black box and all that fancy stuff and all the technology that we got, satellite imaging. They can't find a plane, but they can find a dude hiding in a hole. I'm just saying. So, yeah, no. I stay on the ground, and even that sometimes ain't all that safe because there's sinkholes, and, you know, then you'll fall through the ground and you'll disappear there too. So it seems like sometimes like you can't win. But I'll take my chances being on the ground. Being in the air is one of the most liberating, amazing things ever. I've been in small planes like this before. They're an absolute marvel. It's, there's literally nothing like it. But like I said, I've done it so much in my life that I'm like, I'm good. It's like, thanks. Yeah, that's about how long it's been for me. I haven't flown in about 20 years, but used to fly fixed wing, yeah, and rotor wing quite regularly back then. I was lucky. I had friends who loved to share their toys, yep. Oh, yeah. One of the best experiences I ever had was flying Air Canada. Boeing 7... I think it must have been the typical 747. I don't think it was the Dreamliner 787. And I was in the cockpit. Huge plane. Like, huge. And it wasn't on autopilot. And within reason, I got to grab the stick and, like, move the plane. Like, get a true feel of maneuvering this plane. And let me tell you, after flying like a Cessna or something like that, it's, wow. It's just a rush. That was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because they weren't really supposed to do that, but I flew so often, some of the pilots remembered me. And I was fairly young, but, you know, they told me don't just go reefing on the thing and then you start, you know, doing one of those on a 747 Boeing. That's not going to end up too well. But it was just enough just to kind of get that feel, the power, right? And like I said, the rush, it's beyond words. I've never experienced anything like it. I've been in boats, helicopters, cars, trucks, Hueys, Blackhawks back in the military days, but only once they were airborne. Yeah. Excessive airspeed. Now, it's interesting in the game. In real life, there's a flight limit. There's a speed limit. When you're below 10,000 feet, you gotta go below 250 knots. But for some odd reason in this game, if you go too fast, it'll say that you overstressed the plane, and you'll actually crash in this game. My buddies wouldn't let me take off for like, yeah, that I've never done. Except for like those little water planes, I don't even remember what those are called. Those water ski planes, whatever you call them. Those are a lot of fun. But yeah, it's weird. Like I said, this is definitely a niche thing. To watch a guy just rambling on 100 miles an hour. There's no action, there's no missiles, there's no lasers, there's no grenades. There's no explosions. It's just flying, but as you could see... No, I was saying I don't know what they're called. They're the planes that float on the water. I call them ski planes, water ski planes. You know, they got the, you know, the wheels, but they've got like those skis and you can land on the water. But yeah, it's relaxing because... Here, let's spicing it up a little bit. %, lightning. Broken clouds might be... No, let's go with the scattered. Yeah, let's do the scattered. 40%. Yeah, sometimes it'll freeze momentarily. Let's add just a little wee bit of color. Yeah, I think it's just called a seaplane. Yeah. So it's best to download this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because of that thing that I told you, it's got its own launcher. So the initial 1 gig update, sorry, the 1 gig download, you get to pick where you want to install that, regardless of Steam or Microsoft. Once you click on your Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, icon, it's going to do that 96 gigabyte update from within the game. And again, ask you where you want it. That's where you can name your folder. Where's it gonna go? It's absolutely amazing. Again, if you have it on Steam, you gotta have Steam going and Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you buy it on the Microsoft Store, you just have the game running. There is no additional program that also has to be running in order for you to play this game. Again, it's a very rare occurrence that I will say, yeah, so about the Microsoft Store, yeah, screw Steam, go with the MS Store. Very rare that that'll happen. Because again, you get to name your folder. That's revolutionary when it comes to Microsoft, because the Windows Store doesn't usually allow you to do that. But it's because, again, the launcher is built into the game. But yeah, as you can see, the clouds, the time, you can see now on my computer what I've been talking about. This has been fairly smooth sailing. And I want to pause the game quickly. I know that it's boring because it breaks the flow of the mood. But it's very important that I explain this again. Again, leave your frame rate limit at 60. You can drop it to 30 or 20, but there's a bug in the frame rate limit. 30 will actually give you 15. 20 will give you like 10 to 12. 60 will give you sporadic, like, 32 to 42, depending on your hardware. You'll kind of flip-flop all over the place. But if you leave it at 60, and you go in your NVIDIA control panel or your AMD panel, and you set the frame limit, there's an actual option that says frame limit. Lock it globally to this game at 30. When you come in, despite of those settings in game, your NVIDIA control panel will override it, and as you can see, I'm locked at 30. That made all the difference in the world. It was absolutely insane. Because going from 30 to 44, 30 to 44, that could be a little jarring. Not so much in this game. I don't find frame dips are actually incredibly noticeable in this game as other games would be. Another thing you want to do real quick to recap, data, turn it off. I tried with the Bing Data real photorealistic graphics that are rendered online with the live weather and multiplayer. It bogs the crap out of your computer. Traffic is another one, turn it off. You don't need to see other planes in the sky. I've been playing this game for almost 20 hours already, and I had the big airliner and general aviation traffic on high. I never could get close to an airplane. You're not going to see them. Turn it off, you'll get almost an additional 4 to 6 frames per second. When you're locked at 30, that makes a big difference because you don't want to be idling around the 22 to 24 frames. And that's from turning traffic off, data off. And yeah, I have mine on custom, but it's actually medium, but then I turned up the terrain level detail back to 100, which is what it would be on high. And the render scale, I dropped it from 50, brought it up to 80, because it would normally be at 100 on high. Again, real quick, everything's on medium settings. And from that to high, I'm being honest, I can't really tell the difference. And even if there was a subtle difference, the frame rate is smoother. It's not worth having it look a bit better and keep dropping down to 19 frames. It's just not worth it. So anyways, I wanted to recap on that quickly because it's important. And like I said, same with FS, Flight Simulator X before Steam had it, yeah. So like I said, as I'm playing, I think you may have noticed my frames. They're fairly decent. We can have some effects, we can have some clouds, and it's really not too bad. But like I said, if I want to push my CPU to the limit, and I want to make my frames dip, it's very easy to do that. The speed won't do it, but getting closer to the ground, rendering the buildings, again, you could see that little dip to 28. But you don't really notice it, like I said, even down to 25 or 26 frames. You got to remember, movies are actually recorded at 24 frames, so when you watch a movie, that's only 24 frames per second. So that's the other good news about this game, is even if you dip a bit, it won't be like super choppy at all. But yeah, to me it's just fun to see the dynamic weather changing. It's kind of hard to describe, really. Because for a lot of people, I could see how this could be the most boring thing in the world. But to me, it's a lot of fun. I don't like the cockpit view too much, just because you naturally have, obviously, the inside kind of blocking some stuff. And for some odd reason, I find the frames aren't that good inside the cockpit, which is what I wanted to show you. We're getting a decent amount of a frame dipping there, here and there. But it's very well detailed. Like if you hit up, I don't want to end up crashing there. But I mean, it's pretty decent. Like it's... Like you can really see the detail, even in the handle. It's pretty wild. And I was about to crash. But yeah, some planes I'll do it in the cockpit. What I'm gonna have to find at some point, like I mentioned before, is some type of what they call like elevator music, just something very basic to kind of run softly in the background. Essentially the Microsoft music that you get in the beginning. But for some reason it doesn't run in-game. I think that's kind of a bit of an odd oversight, because I think a little bit of music in the background, just something subtle, would kind of be a nice touch overall. But the sound options are good. I mean, I can turn down the airplane engine a lot more, so we can hear a bit more of the ambient sounds. Not too much. How are you doing, Void? So you're sticking with that name after all? Let me just go and show you the nighttime a little bit. Just a little bit. Just to kind of get the... I mean, I can't see too well. Especially with my big bright light on me. But the thunder, or the lightning rather, definitely a lot more intense at night. But that's what's really nice, is you can pick your perfect, you know, time. If that's a little too dark, you want just a little bit touch of light, scroll back the hands of time, you know what I mean? You could still see the stars, the clouds. That pause is because I kept changing the settings. It sometimes does that momentarily. But yeah, anyhow, I'll bring it back up to daytime. I'll have to find some elevator music at some time. It's practically free. So you can get it on the Game Pass for $1 for an entire month, and even if the Game Pass is not on sale, I'm on my way there now. Look out the window, you might see me. I mean, I'm not going to do the whole flight there. I left from Cairo, Egypt. So, I mean, in real life, that would be a good couple of hours. I just wanted to set a destination so I had somewhere to go. To be honest with you, I might even try to land the plane somewhere around here. Just to kind of show you how that works. And it feels good, too, the landing. I can show you that in a couple of moments there. I sometimes have a hard time explaining things in detail, non-convolutedly when I'm playing a game. So if you're on an Xbox or a PC, it's kind of like Xbox Live Gold, you know, where that allows you to play multiplayer games. But the Game Pass instead allows you to play from a wide variety of games for free. It's like getting a membership at the library and you can kind of just grab any book you want. Maybe. It's kind of a way of comparing it. And they've simply included this game day one into the Game Pass. Not something they normally do on a day one game, because they want the money. They want people to pay for it up front. Stop the plane. Stop it. That's bullshit. I crashed in the water. Are you serious right now? Yeah, we'll just go to the main menu. So if you do it on PC, the Game Pass, it's even cheaper because it's still in a beta state. So renewing a Game Pass on PC is it's pretty cheap. Like I said, it's $5 Canadian when it's not on sale. $1 on sale now. And then yeah, you can just download the games. So I'll show you this really quick because I've already been flying around for about a half hour. So I'll show you this really quick. So this is the Microsoft Store. Everybody knows the Microsoft Store. There's nothing fancy about it. But when you go to Flight Simulator, it's a little bit convoluted, you know, trying to find your games. Like, where are your games? But as soon as you have the Game Pass, see? You can play Flight Simulator Standard with the Xbox Game Pass. So there's no additional download because this is a part of your operating system. Right? See, it's wanting me to buy it. Because I don't actually own any of these. Then when you go to your updates, I mean, you could check for updates, whatever. So that's one way to access the game through the Game Pass once you've, logged into your account. The other way you can do it is with this little app, which is okay. I just don't really see the point of it unless you want something that you can see all your games on right from the get-go. Because like I said, the UI for this game store is pretty pathetic. See, on the left-hand side here, you can have a nice little library and showcase all your games rather than having them, here manually. So here you can see all the games that you have, and see, you own this. I own this. But when we go to Microsoft Flight Simulator, I don't own this. but it was included with the Game Pass. And then you can just go here, click on Game Pass at the top. Oh, absolutely, yeah, it's $1. It's $1. At most, it's $5 on PC. If you do the Game Pass on the Xbox, I think it's more expensive. So it is more expensive. I don't know the price. I mean, I can look into it because I am curious. But see, there's my subscription. See, Game Pass, you can manage. See, immerse yourself in a deep library of more than 100 high-quality games. Join the fun in new games or catch up on recent hits. With the Xbox Game Pass, you always have something new to play. So, that's what it is. And with the whole, like, play anywhere, you know, like where most games on Xbox, you can play on PC. So I don't really like Xbox, not to be rude. It's just a personal preference. I only really like State of Decay 2 and Forza Horizon and Halo Wars? The RTS Halo game, whatever it's called. But then I found out that my PC can play those games better than an Xbox One X. Why did I have a $600 console to play 3 games that my computer was already playing better? So I was like, piss on that. Get rid of the Xbox. Stick to PC. So I'm still Xbox gaming, but on my PC. So to me, that's really cool. Void plays on a PlayStation and a Samsung tablet. So you're screwed when it comes to this game. Even a $5 Game Pass, that's a year of playing for the purchase. Well, that's a month, sorry. Yeah, so the Game Pass is per month. Okay, so let me close. Again, you don't need this. It's just, this is a nice little addition, by the way. So again, you don't need to have this program. This is the, it's just called the Xbox Beta app or whatever. It's still in beta. Just a nice little way for you to look at your games real quick. So let's get out of there. Let me open up another tab and bring it over to my second screen here so you can see. Oh, I was looking at some future upgrading for my computer. Yeah, so if we do Game Pass Xbox One, just in general, this is where it's not the cheapest. Join now. Yeah, okay, so there it is here. Do you? So you see here, generally speaking, this is what's going on. On console, it's $12 a month. For the Game Pass. But on PC, as you could tell right here, it's still $1. And I've done this deal multiple times. Then it says for a limited time price, instead of $12, it'll be $5.99. Now that's Canadian. Most people are UK or American, so this will be closer to like $4.50 or $5. Somewhere around there. And you can do that, like I said, right now on PC. $1 for a whole month. You're going to find out real quick if you're going to enjoy Flight Simulator and if it runs well on your PC. And then there's what's called the Ultimate Game Pass. This is the one where you can access your games on both the console and the PC. So to sum it up, there are 2 separate Game Passes. One for PC, one for console, I guess a third one, and one that does it all. Now, $17 a month, or $15 American, that's not all that cheap. But $1, again, I keep stressing it, is insane. Obviously, if you get Microsoft Flight Simulator on a console, it's going to run because it's going to be optimized for that console, so you hope. No 2 people have the same PC, right? So that's where it's a little bit more important to test it out first. And like I said, for $1, you can't go wrong. Don't pay $100 on Steam, and then you can't refund the game because it took you 6, 7, 8, 9 hours to download the game, which actually chews up your refund time. Because you have to be in the game to update the game. And because you're in the game, Steam is going, hey, you're on the clock, bitch. You went over your 2 hours. Sorry, you're not getting a refund. I have a 1 gigabyte wired internet connection that still took me 3 hours to download the game. So, I urge people, $1. Like, seriously. Like, it's insane. Actually, Game Pass would be $56 at this point. Oh, for a year, you're saying. Yeah. 60 flat out for the purchase. Right, yeah. Plus you get other games and... Yeah. A lot of people complaining about that. Yeah. So, anyhow, $1. Give it a shot. Not to be rude, most people I know won't have the horsepower to pump this game, but at least you can get an idea as to if you can get some decent enjoyment out of it. Lock it at 30 frames. Drop the settings even down to low. They don't look that bad on low. It's not like, ugh, what is that? It's actually pretty decent. Turn off the data, the AI airplanes in the air. You're not going to see them anyways. It makes a massive difference. So, anyhow, that's what that is, like I said. It's pretty good. All right. Let me make sure. Oh, wow. My preview in my OBS was open, which chews into my my performance a bit. Where are we? It's getting dark here. Let's move the sun over a bit. Big Ben. House of Parliament. No, we won't do that. Trying to think of a place somewhere in this vicinity to leave from to go to. I'm glad I use, the Xbox Pass to play Flight Simulator because it doesn't work. You can't do the update. Yeah, the update can really be a wonky mess. I've just closed the game a couple times, restarted it, and it worked for me. There, typical... Oh, Manchester, Liverpool. Yeah, let's do Manchester departure. Actually, going over here wouldn't be all that nice because you'll just end up going over the water. There's really not that much to see. Southampton. Trying to think of where to go. I don't know where to go. London to Newcastle. Well, that means me knowing my map. I dropped out of high school way too early, you know what I'm saying? But bear with me. A little bit. Alright, I'm gonna cheat. Manchester. Sorry, London. Heathrow. Okay. Here. From over here? You want me to start there? Want me to crash right in your house? Undo the propeller right near your window and it just goes in. Takes you out like a glory kill in Doom? Alright. That's the departure. Where am I going? Dublin, Ireland. That was a terrible... I don't know what the hell that was. Yeah, I'm assuming Dublin, Ireland. Never heard of Shannon. I don't know who she is. Anyhow, Heathrow. Where am I going? Where's Newcastle? Wait, you said London to Newcastle. Wait. Yeah, but where is that? Damn it! There's too many of these thingies. Oh, there. I knew that. You call that a quick flight? That's not a quick flight. Well, it depends what you're flying. Let me readjust. Oh, it feels so much better. Rearranging myself there. Okay, let's look at some planes. I don't want to fly anything too fast. 330 is a good speed. That's why I chose that plane. You'll see the other ones, their knots are in the 100s. Upper 100s. That makes it a lot slower. There is a jet that's pretty fast, this one. But I'm going to be honest with you. I find jets annoying. Like the sound. It just sounds annoying. Propeller planes don't annoy me. These annoy me. But it is a fun plane to fly. At some point, I could potentially furthermore reduce the sound of the engine of the plane, increase the ambience. Why isn't there an option to have this music playing in the background while I'm flying? It's almost like the Sims-ish kind of music, you know? This would have been perfect elevator music, anyhow. This one that we've got here is a 330. That's actually pretty fast. Yeah, these are much quicker, but these aren't fun to fly, honestly. They're really not. They're annoying. They're easy to crash. I think I'm just going to stick with that airplane for now. So let's just do it. So the point is, I like the game. That's it. And since I can't afford to buy the game, I've got this game for another 3 weeks because I got the Game Pass a week ago. I would have bought it closer to release date, but I was worried on the Game Pass expiring. Like the deal, but even $5 again is really not that bad. Next month on the 10th, or the 7th of next month, once it's expired, I will probably just redo it, to be honest with you. Like, redo the Game Pass just for this game. So it's essentially like I'm renting this game at $5 a month. To me, that's a good deal. Do that for a couple of months. Let them get a couple of updates. Let me save up a bit of money. Maybe around Christmas time, if I'm really lucky, and I do a full overhaul and build a new computer, now that I got my new graphics card. That's half the expense of my computer. Then I'll buy it. Do I think Microsoft will fix the update? I mean, I know they will. It's always a question of when. Every computer is just a little bit different. As you could see, I didn't really have too many issues. A lot of people have, a lot of people haven't. It's hard to say what'll work for you or why it's not working for you. And because I'm literally not at your computer, it's hard for me to go, okay, let's try this. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes even rebooting your modem can help, or running the launcher as an administrator, or have you reboot your computer recently? You know, that kind of stuff. Like all those little things that can sometimes make a big difference. Again, this is on an SSD, by the way. It's loading the way it should on a normal drive. It's incredibly slow, the loading times in this game. But once you're in, you're in. Again, don't look at the frames per second when you're inside the game. Or I mean when you're at the airport. Bear with me here. So something funny happened. One of the main reasons I actually didn't really enjoy my Xbox and why I'm a bit more of a PS4 fanboy. So my controller randomly died even though I just charged it fully before starting the stream, 45 minutes ago. The endurance on these, battery-wise, that's why. That's why. Anyways, my controller disconnected, and for a second I was like, why is it doing that? It's because, as you can see, the game crashed. Not gonna lie, that's annoying. Predominantly because of how long it takes to get back in the game. But as you can see, I'm gonna load it right from the icon, right from the flight simulator icon. Anyways, it's annoying. It's on an SSD, but again, let's time it. It's 10:04. Even the time it takes for the initial game to open up, because I just clicked on the icon like a couple seconds ago, it takes a while even for that. Again, this is on an SSD. This initial thing where it takes like 10, 15, 20 seconds for the thing to even pop up, that doesn't seem to change even with an SSD. The period is no shorter. See? This. That takes the same amount of time whether you're on a mechanical drive or an SSD. Who keeps texting me? I'd hate to be popular or famous. My good lord. Alright. That's done. It's kind of good that this did happen, just in case there's new people that didn't see the beginning of the stream. This showcases, again, just how long it takes for you to get in the game on an SSD again. Kind of gives you an idea as to what you'd be in for. I could never go back to a mechanical hard drive for this game. It's too painful. So we started about 10:04. We're already 10:05. I'm kind of timing how long it takes from the time you double-click the icon on an SSD again to actually getting into the game. I'm going to try to pick just a random flight somewhere in the UK-ish. I might not like pick the exact same thing I had the last time, because I don't want to spend 3 minutes trying to find where I want to go. I just want to quickly get in to do like a accurate time of how long it takes to get back in the game. We're at 2 minutes now. And we're not even at the main menu. On an SSD again. By now, I would have killed 15 people in Grand Theft Auto on an SSD. It's incredible how fast an SSD is. This game is so slow you would think it's on a normal hard drive. So yeah, when the game crashes, this is why it's a real pain. Especially when you're streaming, because you can't obviously cut this section out. Okay, so 2.5 minutes just to get to the, Okay, let's do this really quick here. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, we just hit 3 minutes. Now this part looks like it's going fast, but then it slows right down to a crawl. Now when you crash your plane and you want to just restart, that's much quicker. So that's pretty wild on an SSD again. I gotta stress that. It's a good 4 minutes just to get back from the desktop to into the action. That's a long time. This is also one of the biggest games in history. It's got a total of 2 petabytes. That is 2 million gigabits, whatever. 2,000 terabytes, or installing Final Fantasy 15 with the HG textures 14,167 times. Or for 100 gigs. You get the default generic graphics and all that, right? Assuming you don't connect to the online, which I have not. Again, for a better performance boost. Alienware Aurora R7. Well, that tells me nothing. i5 8400, ooh, 8 gigs of RAM, GTX 1060. Yeah, so not to be rude, but that is a little bit weak. I mean, you could probably still play it. I don't know if you'd be able to play it on my settings on medium. You might be able to do it on low. Low looks better than you think. Low is not like... It's 4, 5, 6. We're on 5 minutes, by the way, on an SSD. We're not in the game yet. 5 minutes from the desktop to get into the action. That is absolutely nuts. It's very CPU intensive. See? 5.5 minutes to get into the game on an SSD. That's like insane. Again, this part is always disgusting. Don't be thrown off by the terrible frames per second here. That's irrelevant. Yeah, we'll leave it on scattered clouds. Lightning like that. What time of day do we have? Yeah, around there. We'll close that. We'll let it think for a second, because it usually freezes for a second. Okay. Let's get going. Oh, that's where it freezes. Because we changed a bunch of the settings there, it just lags for a moment. For a moment, I said. It better not crash again. Otherwise, I'm going to start thinking this airport's glitched. But this isn't completely uncommon again. If I start fiddling around too much with the settings, the time of day, keep switching the slider around a couple times like I did with the time, you could end up, you know, botching it. But it generally doesn't crash. See what I'm saying? See, we're back in action. It just kind of needed a moment to think. No problem. Like I said, I think you might be able to run it, but I think the $1 investment is absolutely worth it. That deal is still going on right now as we speak. $1. And you'll probably get the absolute best answer ever. Then you could probably fine-tweak some settings and... You know what I mean? That's probably your best bet. I just know that with a much stronger computer, I'm struggling to have a smooth experience, but I'm having fun overall, so that's really the main thing. See, even at 24 frames, 25 frames, it's still not nearly as laggy as you would expect a game to be at such a low frames. To be honest, anything over 20 is going to be fairly decent, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to make a weird statement, but it'll explain what I'm talking about. When you're at like 20 to 24 frames a second in this game, it feels like a normal game at 30 frames. It's not as jarring. This game is more forgiving. Look at that. Even at 23 frames, look at that was a half decent... Now, 15 you'll notice. But see, even at 23, 25, when you move your plane, it's fairly smooth considering. Yeah, that's not, unfortunately, something that's easy for me to sort of like discuss over the computer, like how to upgrade. Some computers can't be upgraded, so like my computer, to be super technical, can't be upgraded. I need a completely new computer. So I upgraded the graphics card. I got an RTX 2070 Super. I came from a much older GTX 970. But because the motherboard supports the technology of the new graphics card, and it's not too outdated, I was able to do that upgrade. I can't change my CPU and keep my motherboard, even though my motherboard is amazing. Because it doesn't handle the new socket number configurate, like it's a different shape for the CPU. So I'm forced to buy a new motherboard to go along with the new CPU. It's like taking a toaster from Canada and bringing it to England and plugging it into the wall. It won't work. The pins don't match, the current's different, right? You need an adapter. Well, in this case, you just need a brand new motherboard. And then because of that, I'll get new RAM. And so it's technically upgrading, but you're basically at that point rebuilding a completely new computer. But anyhow, this part of the world does look very nice. There's no doubt. We dropped from 30 frames all the way to 20, which is incredibly low. But that happens sometimes. And again, if you take it up just a little bit, give yourself just a little bit more altitude, and you'll smooth out your frames a decent amount. It still looks good from this distance. And as you can see, our frames are much more stable. Well, not really, because I've never been here in real life. So it's not like I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, Jimmy's cottage right down there. Oh, Simmy Boy Jr., there's his home. I'm coming for you, bitch. You know, not really. I can't really tell where I am in that regards. Do you have an approximation as to how long this flight should take? Oh, can the game tell me? Is that a trick question? I told the game where I want it to go. Hello, Liam. How's it going? I mean, I'm near D177B. Whatever the hell that is. Can I click on these? No. But yeah, the cloud formation, it makes the sky a lot nicer. Kind of like in real life. When you look at a crystal clear blue sky, it's boring. You got the big sun beaming down on your head. It's annoying. But when you have some nice clouds, it's pretty nice. Well, because I set an actual course, I know when to land. That I do. I actually technically should go more in this direction. How do I what? I just follow my GPS? Remember, because I actually input a destination and a starting point? I'll know when I get there. I won't get lost. I remember that Hitman Game of the Year Legacy Pack on PS4 on Xbox, so does it work on Xbox? It's hard to answer that question simply because everybody's got a different experience with the Hitman Legacy Pack and redeeming it. I have it on multiple platforms, and it's been a different experience for each one. It's a convoluted mess, hence why I made a video on it. Lots of other people had issues on it, and that's why I got almost a couple of 100,000 views on that video. I only shared what worked for me, but it's definitely not going to work for everybody. Kind of like the new video I made on this. Got thousands of views, bunch of people were really happy. Some people are like, this didn't work. This is bullshit. Well, the situation's bullshit, but I can assure you my video isn't, because I've proven to you that for me it works, right? But I mean, in theory, it should work. That's the whole point, but it never has. And that's why my video became so popular, because what should have been something simple wasn't so simple. Let's do a little barrel roll action. Right through the clouds. But yeah, at the end of the year, I'm so excited to get a much stronger computer, hopefully. Be able to crank up the graphics on Ultra, lock it at 30 frames, and be able to fly really low and still maintain that 30 frames so we could see a bit of the landmarks a bit better. So, Simi Boy, do you know how long of a flight this should be? From where I left? No, I don't play Fortnite. I hate that game with a passion. That burns hotter than 1,000 suns. And then it depends on how fast your plane is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do the whole trip, but this is definitely giving you an idea again. What the game looks like. Like I said, clouds make a big difference. Clouds make a huge difference. Sorry to change the settings without being... Which setting? Sorry? Without being in the game? Not that I'm aware of. Very few games allow that. Generally, rare games like Fallout or Skyrim will allow you to change your settings before you even get in the game to begin with. This one, I'm pretty sure you have to be in the game. Right. But yeah, like I said, this is fun. I mean, I could see after a while, not so much the novelty wearing off, but the initial wow factor wears off a little bit. And then it's just kind of like using this as a... I don't even know what word you'd want to use. Just kind of like one of your default go-to games, right? Like I might actually end up going into Skater XL soon. But I may have to go to the bathroom super quick. Been drinking too much water. Yeah, because I've been doing this for over an hour now. Oh, gotta slow it down. If you don't slow it down when you heard that humming, you'll end up breaking your plane. And it'll say that you overstressed it. But yeah, again, clouds, huge difference, right? Like, look at this. Look how boring this is, like in real life. Look how disgusting that is. There's like nothing going on. You could do a few clouds. Scattered, like that. I still don't know the difference between scattered and broken. But broken seems to be a little bit, well, broken at the moment. Yeah, I shouldn't play too much with it. But I wanted to show you the different clouds. There we go. So these are broken clouds. They're not scattered. Whatever the hell that means. I just think clouds make the game look way better. Not really a performance hit either, which is nice. Let's nosedive a little bit, see what happens. Yeah, Yeah, see those frames dropped right down to 14. But yeah, like I said, just to kind of relax and chat and being able to keep up with the chat, you know, compared to something like Call of Duty, I wouldn't be able to talk this much and make sense playing Call of Duty, you know what I mean? It's just not that type of game. But in a different kind of way, I enjoy this game just as much as something like Call of Duty. But for different reasons. Because between Skater XL, World of Warcraft, a random sports game, or a current open world game going on that's relevant, I could totally see this being like a regular for like years to come. Like imagine my computer, if I can afford to build one at the end of the year, how much more of a difference it'll make. Being able to crank up the graphics, get a more stable frame rate. And then imagine this game in a couple of years, once it's been ironed out a little bit. It's going to be huge. You could see cars again. Traffic. It's pretty cool. You can turn that off as well. Yeah, it's gonna lag here big time. Here we go. Right in the middle of the highway. Oh no. My plane isn't slowing down enough to my liking. And no, you can't collide with vehicles. They don't even have wheels. They hover. But anyhow, I just thought I would show you this too. Just to show you the amount of detail that they've put into this game. Considering that this is a flight simulator game where you don't usually need to have, you know, the terrain and the grass looking all that good. And this is on medium. Peace and quiet. Look at those buildings. That's actually really not all that bad. You can even see the fan for the air conditioning. You could see like some shading and stuff on the buildings. That's actually not too bad considering. You can even see the lamp, the door handle on the building. You'd normally never need to see that because you would never see that kind of detail. The trees are even moving with the wind. I'm just saying there's a lot of detail in this game. But that's what adds to the immersion, right? So that when you fly down low, you still see a little bit of, you know, some half-decent details. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I can do one of two things. I'm trying to think what to do here. I don't know. Keeps texting me. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do... I think I'm just going to end the stream, because I want to go to the bathroom. I might take a quick shower, grab something to eat. And then when I come back, not too sure what I'm going to do. If I'm just going to keep flying a little bit more. I do want to play some Skater XL. I'm really excited to play that because of the update. The game's a lot smoother. So I kind of want to get into that. And, yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to end it for now, and I'll be back in about like 10, 15-ish minutes or so. In Skater XL, I just haven't bothered trying the mod for multiplayer. I tend not to do multiplayer with people. Hello, Aquino. Sadly, I'm done. It's been like over an hour. But I'll be back roughly 15-ish minutes. I should be. The next couple of days, I have a little bit of extra time, a little bit. But yeah. So anyways, I hope that kind of showcased the game a little bit. Like I said, for my setup, it's not too terrible. It's, like I said, I enjoy it a lot. And again, maybe I'm partially biased because I paid $1 for the Game Pass. So my expectations are lower. If I would have paid $90, I might have been a little angrier. But it's definitely not too bad. So before I go, does anybody have any questions on this game or any other game, real quick, before my bladder explodes? Well, now you're being too technical. Is that the jet one? I like it a lot more than the Boeing. I don't like the big planes. They don't do it for me. Yeah, the one, the jet one. Well, I mean, I like them in general. I just don't like flying them because they're more difficult. Okay, TAA is the highest one. Okay. TAA. Let me do this really quick before I piss myself. Well, just think, that's because I've been drinking a lot of water. I've gone over an hour without peeing. There was a time when I was severely diabetic and I was like 350 pounds. I used to pee like every 5 minutes. I wouldn't have been able to stream. I would have had to have pissed in a bottle. It was unreal. Yeah, see, when you say Cessna, let me show you what I think. See? Cessna. Citation CJ4. The jet that goes at 450 knots. But there's other Cessnas. There's the 208, the 172 Skyhawk. There's even there's a lot of Cessnas. Beechcraft. Yeah, so I'm learning here. See, Boeing is the brand. Hold on. So in this case, Textron is the brand, but Cessna is the model. This one. Believe it or not, that's actually one of the only airplanes I haven't tried yet. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, I don't always like the faster planes. The game runs a little bit smoother. You can, I don't know. I kind of like the smaller planes. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like a mini Boeing there, the Airbus. But am I right? The Boeing, like the top name is the brand, right? So Cessna's not a brand. Textron Aviation's the brand. And then Cessna's like the model. It's like saying a Firebird. But then or whatever, or like Z28 Camaro, you know, the Z28 part, or whatever. See, I thought so too. I thought Cessna was the brand, but I got confused because... Oh. See, I kind of know what livery means, but I don't. To me, when I think livery, I think of Forza Horizon and the different skins, paint jobs that you can have. So like Boeing, I know is a company. Get it? You know, typical Boeing 747 Intercontinental. So... Wait, you said Cessna is the brand. So in this case, is it backwards? Because in this case, 747 is not the brand. In this particular one, the Boeing would be the brand, correct? And the 747 would be the livery? So they just reversed it. They're screwing me up is what's going on. So Boeing 747, but for this one, it's almost like they have it backwards? Right. That's too much technicality. Yeah, 747 makes sense. That's the model, right? But then in this case, like the Cessna 152... Oh, I see what you're saying. So the Cessna is the brand, but the 152 is the model. And then the Textron Aviation's the livery. Yay! You learn something new every day. Yes, I figured that you were Haruki. But I am correct, though. The way they laid out Textron, Aviation, Cessna 152 isn't the same, like, order as, like, Boeing 747. Like, it kind of... You see what I'm saying? Just, anyways. Well, and because it doesn't follow the same order for all the planes. So it kind of just made me go, huh? But yeah. Anyways, I do gotta go. But I'll be back shortly. Like I said, I just don't know what I want to do, to be honest. I need some time to, like, think. I might when I come back. But yeah, I gotta, like I said, my bladder's gonna explode. So I'm gonna go. I'll be back in 10-15 minutes. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So in the meantime, I'm gonna leave this game running. Just so I can save myself on a couple of minutes in case I decide to keep flying a little bit. And then after that, getting into Skater XL or vice versa. Because, like I said, it's 5.5 minutes from the desktop to flight time in this game on an SSD. But yeah. Yeah, Kino, if you're around or whoever's left in here in a couple of minutes, like I said, I shouldn't be too long. And that's why I'm not pausing the stream, like I'm just flat out ending it. Because I would feel bad if I was like, oh yeah, I'll just be a few minutes. Something comes up, whatever, and I end up being a half hour. I don't want to keep people waiting around a half hour. So that's why I'm just like, boom, annihilating the stream. So I'm going to go, and I'll be back soon.